Hey guys, so today doing a new video, different video for sure. We will be fixing the live action Transformers movies. I'm going to make this a series of videos just so I have enough content rolling through to have a consistent upload schedule. Plus these are fairly easy to get together. At least that's what I thought until I actually tried to get this video together. But I got it together. We're going to do it. Here we go. So this is part one, fixing the Transformers movie from 2007. So, parameters. Human characters throughout the entire series. Mostly the main cast, so Sam Witwicky, Michaela, his girlfriend, Cade, those guys. The only one I'm taking out is Tessa's boyfriend, because let's be honest, I think the world would be a lot better if that character never showed up. But anyway, cannot change the main human cast. Those are largely going to stay the same. The main Transformers cast can only be added to, but not taken away from unless used to further the plot. This will be important later. There are some subtractions I took away from the Decepticons specifically because they will come at a later point. Alright? So those in the comments who have already put down, oh, you took away this character even though you said you could. And no, it's coming later. Stop it. Delete your comment. Moving on. Sorry, my microphone decided it was going to fall. Alright. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. The main issues with the movie itself. The Transformers are treated as secondary characters. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with this. The issue is that they are made... they aren't real characters in any of the live-action movies. They're bland. They're one note. Ironhide is the big guy with guns. Ratchet's the doctor. Well, Ratchet's supposed to be the doctor. They didn't even get that right. Sideswipe's the cool guy. Bumblebee's the cool guy. It's those kinds of deals. So it wouldn't be as bad if they were just secondary characters, but they were still characters. That's what Bumblebee did really well. They were still secondary characters, or at least most of them were. Bumblebee was the main character, but the rest of them were secondary characters, but they were still characters. So up next, so majority of the characters in the movies are either unnecessary or caricatures. This is like Anthony Hopkins is a caricature, even though he's the best part of that movie. What's his name? Is it Anthony Anderson from the first movie? He's a caricature. And you could argue he's unnecessary. He doesn't drive... Well, he does drive the plot, but it's a shoe-in character, so... Darcy's a really good example of an unnecessary character. There was no need for her in Age of Extinction. So, things like that. That's what I'm talking about when I say majority of the characters are either unnecessary or caricatures. Villains all look the same. Go through the entirety of the live-action series, and with the exception of Stinger and Nitro Zeus, tell me of a Decepticon... Oh, and Bone Crusher. Tell me of a Decepticon that is not just a mess of gray metal. You might be able to point out a few, but the vast majority are just gray blobs of shrapnel and broken metal. So, definitely going to be changing some of the designs of both the Autobots and the Decepticons. Nothing insane, but you might... nothing that I think is insane. Let's go with that. Too many side plots. The Last Knight was the biggest proponent of this right here. There were way too many side plots in that movie. Once again, The Last Knight, too many plot holes. Well, this is throughout the entire movie series. I think even in the first movie, there were a lot of plot holes that were set up. But yeah, we'll try. This is a subjective thing. This is something that every movie series is going to have if they go on long enough. So this is something where I'm just going to try my best to keep the series from having too many plot holes. Too many side characters. This kind of goes hand in hand with the characters being unnecessary. Leo wasn't really necessary. Darcy was wholly useless to that movie. Stop. Sue, you don't even know who that is. I said this character's name and you probably blanked completely. This is Li Bingbing from the Age of Extinction movie. And then you have Lucas. Guarantee you only know that if you really watch Age of Extinction, pay attention. He's TJ Miller in Age of Extinction. Isabella, you could make an argument for as not being completely useless, but she doesn't really do anything to drive the plot forward any. So, and then etc. There's a bunch of these. So, this would need a slide all to its own if I wanted to do every single side character. So, and then our final issue, Megatron playing second fiddle too many times. All right, so we had him in the first movie, and he's the main villain. He's only in it for 5 minutes. Second movie, he's in it for longer, but he's the secondary villain to the Fallen, which I'm okay with him playing second fiddle occasionally, but it needs to be for like the big guys. It needs to be like Unicron, or with something like the Fallen. He's definitely. I think he would rather work. He would work with the Fallen, but he wouldn't work for the Fallen. So, and then you have Sentinel Prime. It's the same situation. That one's a little bit more reasonable though, because that's supposed to be like a broken Megatron who's like disheveled and like ashamed of himself. So, and then Age of Extinction. He's Galvatron, if you could call that design Galvatron, and he's man-made. So, yeah, that's a complete disgrace to the character of Galvatron. And then you have The Last Knight, where he's following the orders of Quintessa. So, once again, we've had one movie where Megatron was not the secondary villain. So, I'm going to try and keep him the main villain through majority of these movies. So, moving on. Setting, Earth, Cybertron. Those are the two places you really need. So, and character rosters largely the same. The parents are gone. They were completely useless. They weren't funny. They're gone. Okay? Sam is now a college student studying astronomy. Alright? Nothing too crazy. Nothing insane. We get rid of the annoying parents. We keep the main character himself. Cool. The Autobot cast now has RC and Hotshot. And, well, this goes right into our next slide, which I accidentally skipped to. The Transformers themselves. So, I have the actual names of the characters that I want in this movie. And then in parentheses next to them, the design choices. So, Optimus Prime, we're going to keep his design largely the same, but he's going to be more colored towards the Prime design, where it's a red cab and a blue back with an occasional blue, with the little blue like streak going towards the front. No flames, all right? The only reason they put flames in there was because CGI, the cameras at the time couldn't pick up red all that well. So yeah, Optimus Prime, same overall design, just more colored more closely to his Prime design. You have Bumblebee, who's not a sports car. This is a robots in disguise thing. He's now a small SUV, and he has a more humanoid face, but nothing like what you saw in Age of Extinction, where it was like Uncanny Valley kind of human, where like it was so human it was kind of unsettling. But yeah, so this Bumblebee, I think, should have never been made a Camaro. I have the theory that Bumblebee was supposed to be Hotshot originally, and they just made it Bumblebee because they could. So next, Ratchet. He's not going to appear a whole lot in this movie. He's mostly going to play the role he did in Transformers Prime, but he is modeled after his Prime design. But he will come at a later point. It's okay. I'm not dissing on Ratchet or anything like that. Next, Jazz. So Jazz is largely going to have a similar design, but he's going to turn into a Corvette now. And he's going to be colored a little more closely to his G1 colors. He's going to have mostly white with a black stripe. And then like 2 blue stripes on the side of that. And that's pretty much what he's going to be. And his head's going to be a little different. And by a little different, I mean it's going to be like with Bumblebee here. It's more humanoid, but it's not like Uncanny Valley human. Next, we have RC. Just take the Prime design and move it to a live action setting. That's pretty much what this is. I'm doing this kind of like with the benefit of hindsight. So this would be like if someone created a time machine and I could go back and do whatever I wanted. this is what I would do with the Transformers movies. So, modeled after the Prime design, just because that is a good design overall. I don't know if you make her pink or not. If you do go without the blue, which I think the blue does work best with the Prime design, I do think you go more of a purple instead of a pink. But moving on before I get on too far of a sidetrack, we're already at 10 minutes, Jesus. Ironhide, modeled after his Transformers Prime concept art. If you haven't seen it, really suggest looking at it. It's amazing. And Hotshot. Hotshot's going to fill the role that Bumblebee did. So he's going to have a similar design overall. He's going to turn into a Camaro, but he's not going to have that alien face that Bumblebee did. Okay, and these will come later. The Dinobots will come later. They are seen, but it is very briefly. And their designs are a mixture of the Fall of Cybertron games and the movie designs. I like the movie designs for the Dinobots. I like the night aesthetic. I just think they needed more color, and I think they needed to be a little less gray and shrapnel-y. So, now moving on to the Decepticons. I'll breeze through this. Blackout, great design. Love that design. Just giving him a little less alien of a face. That's the main thing with these. The faces are less alien. Megatron, he's probably got the biggest change of all of them. Cybertronian tank with the classic arm cannon. Basically, take the third-party Bumblebee Megatron, Megatank, I think was his name, and then just add a little bit more of that live-action crisp to him, or that live-action, design, the sharp angles and everything like that. Next, we have Starscream. He's still an F-22. I'm keeping the vehicle mode pretty much the same because that's a good choice for Starscream. But instead, he's going to be shaped more like his Cybertron design, because I personally think that's the best Starscream design of all time. Like, that's an amazing design. No alien face. No alien face. Get rid of the alien faces. Barricade's going to have the same design. Again, less alien face. The additions to the Decepticons are Blitzwing, who's going to be a similar design-wise to Bumblebee, but he's colored more closely to his G1 appearance, and he's a triple changer. That is the number one thing. That is like the biggest thing about Blitzwing. He is a triple changer. All right. So yeah, he is going to be a triple changer, and he does keep a lot of the Bumblebee design, but he has an actual like G1 inspired face and colors. Soundwave, you're modeling this after Transformers Prime almost exactly. I mean, that is a perfect Soundwave design, regardless of what you think. And then Shockwave. Now, I actually really like the Dark of the Moon design. I really like it. However, I don't necessarily read it as Shockwave all that much. The mono eye does help with that, the Cyclops eye. But I personally believe they should blend the Dark of the Moon and the Prime design together, because those are two really good designs that I think could work if you blended them together. No mouth. Get rid of the mouth. He doesn't need a mouth. The whole point of Shockwave was that his, or at least in the IDW comics, was that his original head was removed. So, yeah, get rid of the mouth. And then you got a pretty good design there. Next, first 10 minutes are going to be just the Autobots loading up the Ark, getting ready to leave. Ironhide and Hotshot aren't happy about it, but it's something they gotta do. As they take off, they're headed towards one of the neighboring, or the sister planets of Cybertron, aka what we're going to be setting up for a later movie, Beast Wars. Sorry, I had a little bit of a cough there. As they're flying, getting ready to warp there, they're attacked by the Nemesis and the Decepticons, and they are forced to change course, and this leads to them landing on Earth during the Ice Age. Alright, so we got a good blend of the live-action G1, different things like that. We've got a bit of Prime in there. So, moving on. Overall plot. Sam's a college student. His father told him about visitors from the stars, a hint, the Dinobots. And then that caused Sam to want to be an astronomer, or study astronomy. So that's pretty good. His grandfather gave him the cracked glasses. We're keeping that in the movie. Yes, I am keeping something from the original movie in the rewrite. So, because I do think that was actually pretty clever. So now, Michaela is a childhood friend and is a mechanic. that's pretty much the same as she was before. However, she's now a mechanic for NASA. Her and Sam go to the same college, things like that. And her and Sam are sent to fix a malfunctioning radio tower that is keeping communications with their satellites down. While they're fixing this, they're attacked by Blitzwing. Ironhide and Hotshot come to save them. Blitzwing flees. Ironhide and Hotshot take them back to their base where they meet the rest of the Autobots. You have your arrival to Earth scene. That's going to be the arrival to Earth scene, except you'll call it something different. And then it is discovered that the cracked glasses are still a waypoint, but they're not a waypoint to the Allspark. They're a waypoint to an Energon source, which is going to be somewhere in like Antarctica or some shit like that. Some remote location. And the driving force of the plot is the Autobots do not know if the Decepticons know where the Energon is, so they want to get to it as quickly as possible so that the Decepticons don't get to it first. Overall plot, I think that's a pretty decent plot. Moving on. Small details. Optimus Prime is not a killing machine. This man does not just kill mercilessly no matter what happens. Seriously. It happens way too often in these movies that Optimus Prime just immediately goes for the kill shot. Hotshot is training underneath Ironhide. RC and Michaela bond. The Allspark is not in this movie. We're saving that for another one. The military is attacked, but it's by Soundwave this time, and the military overall plays a much smaller part. Optimus Prime and Megatron actually have debates with each other and talk rather than just immediately going to fight each other. And this is where you build character with Megatron and Optimus Prime. Starscream, you model him after his Cybertron design, but you give him his Armada character. That's what you do. That's one of, if not the best Starscream depiction ever. At least in my opinion. And then, in total, Blackout is the only Decepticon that dies in this movie. Several of them get injured while fighting, but Optimus doesn't kill anyone, and the rest of the Autobots outside of Ironhide and Hotshot are following Optimus's example. Ironhide and Hotshot are basically going to be like the ones that are like, yeah, we will kill you if you mess with us. So, and then Decepticons go into hiding at the end of the movie. They are hiding in the ocean. Autobots and military do now have a joint contract with each other. That is Nest. We're setting that up. We're keeping that. And the movie ends in the same way, with Optimus sending out a message to other Autobots to come to Earth. Now, because this is a modern movie that is setting up a franchise, we do have a post-credit scene. I know. It's overdone. But let's face it, everyone assumes nowadays that there is going to be a post-credit scene, so we might as well give them one. So, post-credit scene. They're where the Dinobots went into stasis lock at. Bumblebee and RC are looking for Energon. They stumble upon the Dinobots in the ice. They call for Ratchet and Optimus. And the post-credit scene ends with Grimlock's eyes flashing on and off. That's the ending of your movie. Do you have anything else? That's it. That is all I have today. So, with all that being said, I know it was a bit of a wordy video, and I know there weren't too many images, but with all that being said, I'm going to end it here. I'll see you guys some other time. Guys, I need your help. Okay, so the algorithm is the number one enemy of all YouTube channels. Any YouTube channel that's trying to start up or isn't pre-established is going to fail because of the algorithm. So what I need you to do, I need you to do two things. One, I need you to hit like. Two, I need you to subscribe. If you don't do either of those things, this channel is not going to be able to stay afloat for very long. So please, like, subscribe, and if you really like me, you might leave a comment while you're at it. Thank you very much.